What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Shout out to the AKs that continuously join us, man. I appreciate all y'all. Been a long, long day, man. Long day. I was working. I was running around doing some things, but while doing so, it was an interesting experience in Twitterverse, man. And then, I realized that I must have pissed a couple people off, which is I expected actually. You know what I'm saying? Because when you say certain things, you say the truth, it'll piss some people off. Um, but shout out to those people too. Like I said, I think everybody is looking at this all wrong. I don't think they understand where I'm coming from, man. And I'm not even gonna be silly. I'm gonna keep it very straight up today. I'm gonna get into the comments and holler at y'all in a second, but I don't want to get sidetracked. So I'll get in there in a minute. You know what I mean? But check this out, right? Um, we are a fan base of Cowboys fans, I thought, right? That's what I am, right? And and when I say let's talk about Max Crosby in proper context and the title and so on, is to discuss the idea that we need Max Crosby in order to have a successful season. That's not, to me, that's not reality. That's not the case. I don't believe we need him. Now, everyone thinks that when I say that, I mean I wouldn't be happy if we got an extra toy on the team and Max Crosby. I have no problem with that. The issue has become the narrative tilt that I see, and I think a lot of other people see. And this isn't like to like try to gouge at anybody. It's just a fact. Like we've been talking about a player most of this offseason. I think he's got more headlines than our own players. But we've been talking about a player that doesn't play for the Cowboys and may never, right? As if he's the savior for the Cowboys. And I looked at the film months ago. I broke down Max Crosby film months ago. Got no problem with Max Crosby. So this is not a dig at Max Crosby. Everybody who says, "Oh, you wouldn't want Max Crosby." Who wouldn't want an extra player that can help this team win? You know what I mean? Get what I'm saying? Like, of course, Max Crosby is a good player, right? But when you look at the idea that you're asking for, either are you asking for production from the position, or are you asking for the name that you want? Because if it's just about the player that you want, and it's not about, hey, let's see what our outside linebackers can actually do, and then let's shore this up this way or that, right? When you get past that idea, and when I say past that idea, I mean when you start to overlook certain things, like you might overlook Malachi Lawrence's wins, and I don't hear people even talking about it except for a few. Shout out to Patrick Nosey. He be shouting out what the defense is doing on some of the plays where the offense will score a touchdown. They be like, "Hey, touchdown, CD Lamb," but they don't say also it would have been a sack at. They don't say that. So I start counting them. I know Patrick Nosey does as well. So shout out to Nosey for that. But you know, you don't got. It's not about the goods, the bads, or anything. It's about the goods, bads, and ugly collectively. That's how you assess a player. People keep talking to me like I'm tripping, where when I hear them talk and they don't think I can see certain things going on. And when you see it, it's not like I'm saying I'm trying to tell you how to do your job, right? But if I'm going to honestly speak about a player, right, I'm not going to use one play that he got pancaked or one play where was our three, right? I'm not going to do that, right? Now, if I'm going to include those three plays, I'm going to also put everything else he did in his full body of work, so that way you get an understanding for what he did, right? Now, if I did that with Micah Parsons, they would say I'm cherry picking and I'm a hater, right? If I just say, hey, I'm gonna talk negatively about Micah Parsons' ability to stop the run, and I use one play to do it, I would look crazy doing that, right? But that's what I see other people doing, and these are people who I respect, or I look at as content creators that I would watch and that I do watch, right? Some of them, not all. I'm not gonna lie and say I watch everybody. I don't. I don't got time. But I don't got nothing against them though. You know what I'm saying? Really don't. So for me, when I look at that and I see inconsistencies with that, it's like, why would we do that? Right. And then on the other end, and this is the kicker, the players that we are talking negatively about play for the Cowboys. They're not playing bad either, but you'll ignore them or try to downplay them. But the whole point of being a fan is try to get the team riled up or to try to get them in the right mind state so that you can win, not to try to prevent them from feeling are looking or thinking correctly in regards to their status with the team or status with like we be talking about players like they had back in I said Maris Leafau had a good game. I just listened to Christian Parker talk about the same. He's like, we're happy with his progress. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's versatile. And they're moving him both to middle and outside. He's doing a little bit of both, right? So I said he had a good game. That's all I said. Maris had a good game. I didn't say he excelled at anything crazy. He had a good game, meaning a guy who's developing. Yeah, he got put on his ass like 3 times, right? But on those plays, I look at the impact as well. On those plays, his job is to turn the ball back inside. Ball turns back inside. Or the play where he actually got pancaked and he got hit by like 3 different people. It's like, okay, those blocks, they weren't trying to triple team Maris Leafau. They were trying to get to the second level or get through the gap. That run went nowhere because 3 people dedicated themselves to him for what? I don't know. He was already on his way, but he still got blocked by 3 people. So to not account for that, which is the reason why Shamar James ran free and made a tackle for no gain, but not account for that is like crazy to show that same clip and be like, look, he's horrible at it, right? Now, if I could do that to Micah Parsons. I got clips of Micah Parsons getting thrown on his ass. I can do that to anybody, right? And if I did do that, you guys would call me shady, right? You would call me shady as hell because it would be shady. So why when you guys do it or when you see it, it's kind of cringy because like y'all know what you're doing, and I don't understand that, right? I've watched our own content creators downplay a successful week. Well, really this week, right? And not telling you, like I said, not telling you what you should be talking about, but just in my linear thinking, maybe I'm just prehistoric, but in my thinking, I look at it like, okay, this week, our coach, our defensive coordinator, who we are just learning, just pretty much coach one of the best games that you can coach as a first-time coach in preseason. That's not even being talked about. We still talking about Maxx Crosby. That's not even being talked about. That's what's making me mad. It's not like I got a problem with Maxx Crosby. I got a problem with Maxx Crosby being the center point of the narrative in the Cowboys world. He don't play here. Nor are we playing bad, or nor are we struggling because we haven't played a game, number one. But number two, practice looked pretty damn good up front from the defensive line perspective. I don't see anybody complaining when it comes to the coaches. And then Jerry said, hey, we was going to wait and see. And you know what he waited and saw? He saw that, hey, my defense didn't give up shit all game. I mean, nothing. Y'all talk about the first drive, though. Everybody was saying, oh, after the first drive sucked. The first drive was penalties. They didn't give up no yards. First drive was penalties, and then they scored at the end of that. Okay. Outside of that, they lived on our side of the field. They were 1 for 4 in the red zone. 1 for 4. We was 1 for 2. They were 1 for 4 in the red zone. That's a game we should have lost, and we lost the turnover battle. That's a game we lose. You know what I'm saying? Any other team loses that game. He had second, third, and fourth string, and some fifth string players playing so disciplined, which is some shit we never see here. So disciplined that they was able to keep their head in the game and keep them from scoring the rest of the game, and only gave up 80 yards after that. Total yards was 156. It's a preseason game. Yeah, you're right. But that's still a little crazy, man. So after that game, Jerry said, all right, we don't seem like we looking pretty damn good. So we need more of a coach on the field and a guy who can contribute, not a guy who can come and take these guys out of there and to change the chemistry. We don't need that. We need a guy who can come in and contribute. So we went and got Von Miller. Now, I'm not saying Von Miller is the answer to the world. He's not, in my opinion. I think Von Miller is going to give you some good reps, but in doing passing situations, but he's also going to give you extra coaching in the locker room, which is good. You got guys like Gary, Quentin Williams, and Kenny Clark too, that those guys are going to be learning from. Then Ogbo and Bullard are veterans as well. So it's a lot of vets in that room, right? Boom. That's why Jerry went and got Von Miller. Now, that doesn't mean they don't want to go get Maxx Crosby. Maybe they do, right? But he still doesn't play here. Now, the issue I had was everybody started shooting holes in Maris Leafau. They started shooting holes in Von Miller. I'm like, okay, I don't have a problem with being honest about the film. But if you take the time, and I see a lot of people doing it, they're not going to admit it, but you just go to their pages, all of them. It's not one. See, I ain't pointing at nobody. Right? I know. Shout out to Lou. I know you did a video. You was pointing at me. I don't. Some of the stuff you saying wasn't even stuff I said, so I don't even know what you're talking about. But at the end of the day, if you gotta avoid, you can't avoid something that you can't see, right? So if you avoid what I'm saying and you avoid the context I'm putting it in, because you know what I'm saying, y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all won't repeat it, but you know what I'm saying. You won't repeat exactly what my context is. You say, "Oh man, we want what they call it, overkill or something like that, or whatever." Okay, nobody said don't bring extra talent on the team. That's not what we're talking about. To try to have confirmation bias or cognitive dissonance, either one, whatever way you want to take it. When it comes to the topic, though, because if it's about the need and you keep saying, like, maybe you never even question the other side, maybe we don't needing want them, cool. You can keep one of them all you want. But to keep making them the headline as if we need them, as if there's something bad going on, and it's not, it's crazy. And then you look at it and say, okay, let's downplay some of the things we even see. Like, I wouldn't have had a problem with Damaris talk if y'all to put his sack in there, his pressure in there, his coverages in there, and his tackle for loss. They didn't put that in there. Because if you put that in there, you start to say, oh, you got a balanced game going on. When you don't put that in there, it looked like Maris got thrown out the club all game, which is crazy. If I did that to Osa, people would be like, what the fuck? But I seen Osa get thrown out the club in the entire game. But then when I said something about Osa, I've seen those same people say, no, they put the cape on and they say, no. Let's show the one clip of Osa doing the things that Christian Parker would like him doing. I don't understand how we even look at that as if that means something. But what it does mean, though, it gives waves. It creates ripples, which is cool. But if you want to keep it a buck and you want to talk about this team and you want to keep it a buck about the team, talk about the team and what it's really doing, and then say whatever it is you want. But you don't want to use want, because want is subjective. It's like, it's just the player you want. Right? You're a Maxx Crosby fan. I like Maxx Crosby, but I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, not a Maxx Crosby fan. If Maxx Crosby played for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Remember, I was Michael Parsons fan. I'm not a Packers fan now. I'm not following teams like LeBron. I'm not following players like LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Cavs fan. I'm a Heat fan. No, I'm a Cowboy fan. Get what I'm saying? Maxx Crosby's not a Cowboy. Get it? I like him as a player, though. I really do. So this is not a shot to try to kill Maxx Crosby, but the rule and the ruler that you use, you know, they say, judge not lest ye shall be judged first, right? The ruler that you use to judge someone is going to be used against you. Get what I'm saying? Don't make sense. Because it better not be none of that there. That's what I said. I said, better not be none of that there. Better not be none of that in there. I better not find no games. I better not do it. And it better be hard to find at that. Somebody better have to call me on a bat phone to tell me where the bodies is buried. If it ain't that, then that tells me something. I say, hey, what does it tell you, though? See, I'm going to break it down all the way before. I'm going to put it in proper context before I get to any film. Why? Because I don't like to be misunderstood. I think that's like one of my, I don't know, one of my complexes maybe. I don't like to be misunderstood. That's why I break shit down, right? So let's break this all the way down. If at the end of the day, when you look at the film of Crosby, right? If we're not looking at Crosby's film, because you know what I haven't seen? Crosby's film. You know what I keep saying from Cowboys fans? Cowboys film, downing Cowboys players like we're not the Cowboys fans, and downing them as if they don't. Like I said, I don't have a problem with you doing good, bad, ugly. Show it all or don't show nothing. That's like taking me out of context. You can show me saying, what the fuck? And then say, I was just cursing people out the whole show, right? If you just show that one clip. You get what I'm saying? So we know what context is. So if I can avoid something, that means I can see it. So if you keep taking our players and showing only the negs or not even talking about it at all, I don't see people talking about the sacks in training camp at all. Only no see. And no. Machota, shout out to Machota kept with a bean. I see you. But at the end of the day, not too many people keeping it a buck. They keep, especially when you throwing the Maxx Crosby name out there over and over again. It's like, hey, brother, it's been 6 months. I understood it during the free agency frenzy. I understood it then. I understood it even like, right after when he got sent back to the Raiders. I understood it then too. So okay. I said he probably I said it myself. I said he probably gonna resurface. Jerry probably did that to him with Dr. Cooper. He probably gonna resurface sometime, in the beginning of the season, so Jerry can get a better deal, just or get to see if we even need him. And that's exactly what he's doing. Let's see how bad, how injured, and how devastated are we? How do we look? We're not injured and we look good on right on the film now, not on the practice field. We translated that to the film, and Jerry said, "Oh, all right, we ain't going to be high yet. We're going to go get this first." He said that out of his own mouth in his own words. But either way, I might be interpreting it my way. It might be some confirmation bias, right? Okay, I'll accept that. But at the end of the day, if you look at it from that standpoint, you say, all right, right now, the only thing we see from the people on my people who do film is film when it comes to the Cowboys is negative film of the things that justify why or why not or why we need. Like they keep out like busting Steele up. They busting Steele up, right? They busting him up. They keep but he's lining up against Rashawn Gary. They said well, Rashawn Gary got all goddamn sacks. Still sucks. But then I don't see Malachi Lawrence beating up Steele. I don't see Ezra Rockwell beating up Steele either. They've beaten him, but it's not the same. So I was like, what do that mean? I don't know, man. And I don't even understand it. Like, don't y'all want a player to come here, become a leader, be ingratiated in the program? The players love him, the coaches love him, scouts love him, and then now he performed on the practice field. And they're like, let's ignore that. But why would I ignore that? Y'all gonna make me look like the Gary fan club. Why would I be ignoring that? I don't know. Because I don't want to be wrong about needing Maxx Crosby. We now it's like, all right, well, Gary, cool. They stopped downing him because they was downing him at first. Now they're like, no, he's solid. He cool. But we just want to put him with Maxx Crosby. Okay, cool. You hear what I'm saying? But then y'all had the man, and as far as respect is concerned, when it comes to content creators and fans, y'all would take Rashawn Gary, who's I just told you everything he did with becoming ingratiated into the system, the leadership council, all that other good stuff that he's been doing since he got here. He been here. He actually played for the Cowboys. Y'all know that? He played for the Cowboys. Y'all keep putting that man in the Green Bay Packers jersey, though, in your thumbnails. And Maxx Crosby is in a Cowboy uniform every time. That's like, you see what I'm saying? I'm not tripping, man. But y'all see what I'm saying? That's a little bit it right there for me. Because I like, all right. Now they not drawn on that. I would feel utterly disrespected, especially when you got everybody up there. They put Von Miller in a Cowboy uniform before Rashawn Gary when he wasn't even a Cowboy yet. They had Von Miller, Maxx Crosby. I said, "Whoa, Jesus Christ, you letting it be known?" And then don't nobody say the man's name. I'm like, why y'all ain't talking about all these? I see him because where am I getting the sacks from? I'm showing y'all the sacks on Twitter. I ain't at camp. So where am I getting them from? I'm watching and I said, damn, that's a sack, that's a sack, that's a sack, that's a sack. All these lot of sacks. But nobody's saying nothing about it. I see people say they'll come and argue that's technically not a sack. They will try to strike the sack down. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Then I also see people like they was watching Maxx Crosby run laps. They was watching him run laps. They was like, look at the leadership. You know what I'm saying? Look at the competitiveness. I'm like, yo, all right, nothing wrong with that, right? But why are we not talking about that with our own players? Why are we still saying it about the Bull, right? So what I did was I started watching this film just like everybody. I've been watching him and Von Miller. I've been watching all of the defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators for Washington and for the Giants because I'm preparing for the week 1, right? I'm like, I'm just watching this film. But while watching Von Miller, I'm not Von Miller. Von Miller, I'm gonna get to him too later. But while watching Crosby's film, I said, okay. I watched his sacks. I said, I see. Now, I know for a fact, I really do know that the guys who are talking about Maxx Crosby so crazy are not paying attention to what they're talking about. I know they're not paying attention to what they're talking about because they always say, hey, every sack ain't created equal. I agree. Now, I got taught that by my man Boss, right? Lou, you too, right? But when y'all watching, what are y'all watching? Because I watch all the sacks. I say, if I just look at highlights, you're taking them out of context because if I just looked at highlights, I could just put Maris highlights up there. It's going to be crazy, right? So if I just looked at highlights, you got the good. If I look at low lights, we got the bad, right? But if you bring it all together, all the touchdowns and everything else, you get the ugly. Or if you look at the whole game, like what impact does he have in on certain games, right? Now, I want to know what we buying, don't y'all? So why are we seeing if you're gonna show film, show the good, bad, and ugly on your boy too. I don't see no Maxx Crosby film. I hear his name. I don't see nobody showing me other than highlights film. But they're doing film on your own to justify bringing him though. But why you don't do the same? Take that same fine tooth comb and super like I would call petty, right? Judging criteria and use it on him as well. Not just the people you don't want or the guy you don't like. Use it on him too. And then it's fair. Then it's fair. After that, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with that. Cause then it's like, this is how you judge. Then I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't gonna say nothing to you. I'll be like, well, it don't feel good, but that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So why we don't do that though? Why we don't do that? It's a reason. Like I said, you can't avoid something that you can't see. So to do that, it would bring up things that you don't want to bring up, which is like if I position him as some indomitable character who, if anything he does was going to get us a Super Bowl. And it's like I said, this is not hate on Maxx Crosby, but I'm not going to make this season, CP season, Brian Schottenheimer's sophomore season, you know what I mean? GP's franchise tags. It's all these narratives that's going on right here. You know what I'm saying? You got the Great Wall coming back to Dallas, but it's on the defensive side of the ball with Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, Agbania, Bullard, Rashawn Gary. Get what I'm saying? Ezra Raku. Right now, Maris Leofau still over there. Technically, I even like what I see Tyrus Wheat doing. All these guys, right now, they call me a homer. They say we like our guys. Like they try to make it seem like I'm Stephen Jones for saying that. But I look at all that that's going on, and I say, how do we not talk about none of that? That's just like I said, that's wild to me. But when you take that and compare it, it don't make a lot of sense. And you can go count the titles. I'm not talking about one crate. That's what I said. Go watch. It's a lot of Maxx Crosby talk. All 6 months. It's the 6 months that's killing me. And then I say, hey, when training camp start and we look good, well, maybe we're gonna start talking about our guys. No. We talk about the secondary a lot. We talk about Revel and Durant a lot. Linebacker, they killing Demarion Overshawn. You would think he's retarded back there. You know what I'm saying? I use the R word because that's how they act. Like he's really not really bright. Forrest Gump back there. But I don't see that. But they say it. Anyway, and you got guys like Barron. I think they gave Barron his praise though when he got the interceptions and so on. But every position though is like because I want Jordan Brooks too. Don't get me twisted. I think that another corner would be crazy too. But no, I'm not like knee jerk about none of those plays. Even that linebacker, I like Barham a lot. I like D Winters a lot. I like the scheme for any of those linebackers. I already broke that down, right? But either way, you can see what I'm saying. These things are not talked about. The Cowboys right now have one of the best defensive lines in the game, if not the best defensive line in football. And that's not being talked about. It's being talked about as if it has a chink in it or we in trouble. We got one of the best defensive lines in football. Why is that not the narrative? Christian Parker, like I said, this week's narrative has been, again, more Maxx Crosby, more let's shit on Maris Leofau. And the reason I got a problem with the Maris Leofau part, right? You can't have it both ways, right? I remember during the Mozzie era, everybody kind of shat on him, right? But you shit on a guy and then want him to do good. Do you want him to do good or I don't understand. Maybe because I'm a coach, right? Somebody said that, that's true. Or when you look at like how Marshawn Nealon situation went, right? After Marshawn Nealon, I saw everybody jump up, mental health, but go on their own players, be like, hit the panic button before anything bad even happened, be like, let's shit on this guy. Not say, hey, let's look at this game. Maybe we can get better than this. No. They make it seem like, I heard, matter of fact, Lou say he had a Terrible game. He's like, terrible. That was a terrible game. If that was terrible, like I said, I'm going to show a terrible game from your boy, but it's not going to be fair. So I know it's going to make a lot of people mad, and I hope it does, because you know what I hope it does? You know what I say to my kids? Don't agree with me. If you hear something, I say something that don't sound like it's the truth, don't agree with me. Go look the shit up for yourself. Go do that. But y'all say y'all do it. Well, I did it. Like, no, you ain't doing it. You ain't doing it. You must not be doing it then. But go do it yourself. That's what I tell my kids. Go, don't believe me. Don't even disbelieve me. Don't do either one. Go check for yourself. A person telling the truth don't give a fuck if you go look where the bodies are buried. Person who lying wants you to just listen to me because I'm the authority. I'm not. I'm just telling you what I went out and did, right? But either way, right? If you judge by that ruler, I bet not see none of it, right? Now, I've seen Von Miller judged by the ruler of how long it takes him to make a sack. Okay. I've seen Gary judged by the ruler of he got some hustle sacks. Okay. I've seen him also judged by the ruler of reroutes and so on, right? Okay, cool. No problem. I see Maris being judged by being, pancaked here and there, boom, so on. Okay. And he's being judged. They're saying that he had a terrible game in a game where they gave up no touchdowns through his gaps. They gave him no yards through his gaps, really none. Okay. Nothing happened at all. That would be terrible. Nothing happened. So I don't know where the terrible could possibly exist for him to have had a terrible game, but nothing happened. But I have games where those things have happened to the indomitable one, Santa Claus, right? Again, I don't even want to call him names because that would be like I'm taking a shot at Maxx. And again, this ain't about Maxx. It's about the Maxx narrative. Let's just make that clear. I think Maxx is a great player. If he plays here, I hope he don't sue me, and I hope he's not mad. But this is the truth because there are players here who count. And I know they feel a way about the fact that y'all either trying to get rid of one for him, like GP been here balling. They're like, what did I do? He like, what did I do? Other than be a good teammate. They're like, get him out of here, give me Maxx. No. That ain't what you do if I mean, that just ain't what I do. I don't know. Loyalty. Ain't loyalty a thing. I don't think fans believe that no more. Loyalty is dead. That's crazy. But either way, y'all watching me rant a little bit. And I do appreciate that. I do, but I know y'all ain't come here for that. I came here to watch some film. So let's watch some film. Let me see what I got here first. I don't know which videos I put up here first. I think these are his sacks. Hopefully they don't strike me. Yeah, I think these are his sacks. So I'll stop before each play. He's to the left this time. Boom. There. Boom. Oh no, that's not a sack. This is like what I said this is what I felt, right? So this is how corny this shit is. Because this is what I felt when I seen what they did with my man Marist. I said, okay, if I just show him getting pancaked and say he can't play the position, look at this. Then if I just showed this about Maxx and say he sucks, Maxx Crosby sucks. Look at this. He ain't want no smoke from that fullback right there. Look at it. Oh, look at him gingerfoot right here. Boom. Oh no. And then he goes over and he's jogging. He grabs him. Oh man, 60-yard touchdown. If that was Rashawn Gary, if that was Maris Leafau, if that was any of the guys y'all don't like, if that was Von Miller last year, y'all would have played this play on repeat like crazy. So it's like y'all either didn't see it or y'all saw it and y'all ignored it. Why? Because it don't fit the narrative. It don't fit the narrative. Don't fit the narrative. Boom. If y'all seen this play, boom. If this was anybody that y'all don't like, if you seen this play, you'd be like, yo, boom. Oh, man. Touchdown. He on the field. He ain't injured, right? You seen this, right? This game, I watched this game. I said, damn, this all can't be from the same game. This got to be from different years. This from the same game. So right there, he got bear hug. I said, you got held, but they ran right at you anyway. But he did get held, in my opinion. Like they held him on this young, right? Boom. And let's keep saying, let's keep showing. Boom. Now, if this happened to Ezraku or if this was Maris Leafau in the Seattle game, it would be like, this is terrible, right? Because they said he was terrible. Maris was terrible. So there go Maxx right there. Boom. He set the edge, but didn't do a damn thing. He didn't look like he cared. There was no effort. Boom. Right at him again. This is 3 touchdowns in the same, 4 touchdowns really in the same game. Boom. I'm like, damn, right at him every time. I said, that's a little crazy. Now, that was not the one I wanted to show first. Let me pull that out of there, right? That's what, well, I guess, yeah. Either way, I don't want to make it that. But either way, y'all know what I'm saying. But either way, when you look at that, I didn't want to put that up there first. But if I just showed that, it would look like Maxx Crosby sucks. It would look like that. We know that's not the case. We know he don't suck. I don't think he sucks. But why would I do that to my own players and not do that to a Raider? Why would I do that? That don't make a lot of sense. All right. Let's see. This, I believe, is his. Yeah, these are his sacks. Let's look at this. So, even when I look at this, I'm like, all right, now, yes, this is a sack. There's nobody beat on this sack. Now, if I want to be petty, because I know they was being petty with Von Miller sacks, that's a sack. Was there a pass rush? Did y'all see him move? He was in coverage. So he dropped in coverage, and he chased the quarterback, May before he can get anywhere, and he pushed him out of bounds. This is good hustle. Got no problem with this sack. But remember, we were taught that all sacks were not created equal, and we also were taught that at the end of the day, all we're looking for is sacks, right? It don't matter how you get them, right? Right? I don't know. But boom, right there, he was not blocked. That was cool. Boom. Sack. I mean, do you think that as anybody, do you think anybody wouldn't have made a sack here? I mean, I like the fact that he got one. It was a good hustle, but nobody blocked you, brother. And I understand that. So I give him credit for the sack, but it didn't beat anybody. Boom. Boom. Not being petty. It's a good sack there. That was like a half sack. Got his half sack there. Boom. Good rush. There's a good one-on-one. 2-hand swipe. Sack. Good shit. Good shit. Right? Boom. Now, this is what they're doing when we watch Maxx Crosby. Long sack, but he got a sack. This is what they're doing when we watch him. See, this is him against Steele. Guess what? Wouldn't Steele have gotten his ass whooped against Maxx Crosby? What y'all think happened? Versus Steele? How do you think Steele did? That would be crazy, right? Because they hate Steele, but how you think Steele did against Maxx? I know. Do y'all? I know they don't know because they still talk about Steele like Steele ain't worth a goddamn. Look at this. Boom. So this sack here, he went all the way around the world because, they were stunting. Not this sack, sorry. Let's see. Right here. Boom. He's to the right. Still hits him. Boom. He's stunting right now. Boom, 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 boom. Dak still held the ball too long. Got sacked. That wasn't on Steele at all. No other sacks in that game. This is a good sack right here. Straight beat. 2-hand swipe. Done. He loved that 2-hand swipe move. That's one of his moves. Boom. Bull rush you first, and then he start countering with that. Boom. There go the bull rush. Sack. That was a long joint. Pause. Quarterback falls down here. He falls on him. Sack. Get what I'm saying? So if I came out and I just played these, these highlights, and this is where I went with it, it would look like all Maxx do is just sack shit all day long. That's all, when he on the field, it's just sacks. That's it. But then here, right, if I did the opposite, if I showed only the touchdowns that were scored while he's on the field, this is what people are doing. They show one or the other, not all of it, right? And this ain't even all of it, because this is still, to me, 2 different highlights, even though they're highlights that are juxtaposed, they still 2 different highlight reels. Like this, right? These are highlights. This don't tell the story of the impact of none of these games. Just tell you this happened in this game. How did he bounce back? What happened next? Did it happen all game? Don't tell you none of that, right? So whether I'm talking negative or positive, both of these are corny. This is why I don't do this, right? I started off doing this because I didn't know no better. But you don't do this. I just did the opposite. I showed all the sacks. I can show all his pressures, right? They're gonna tell me don't get a strike. Y'all right. Let me get down from up here because they will turn this mother off in a second. But you get the point with that. I'll put something else on in a second. I'll let this chill. But you get my point. If If I just did one or the other, it's corny. If I just did the negatives, and even if I do the negatives and the positives together, and it's just highlights, still kind of corny because it don't, or it still doesn't tell you when did that even happen. Like, was it the fourth quarter with 30 seconds left? Was it right before halftime and everybody they was running to hurry up, and that's why he wasn't really running on this rush because he'd been on the field and they've been doing the hurry up. He tired. What was happening? Right? You got to watch that to know what's happening. But most people don't got the time to do that. Nobody want to do that. And these guys aren't doing that. They're not doing it. Not doing it. Got no problem with bringing talent to the team. Let's make that clear. Do have a problem with dissing your own talent to try to make it happen, even when it doesn't need to happen. You're still trying to make it happen. Ignoring your own players and disregarding your own players to try to make it happen is a little crazy to me. So that, again, that's my problem. That's my problem. A64. So you saying Akoye cherry picking? A64. What's up, my brother? What'd he say? He said, show all them tackles for losses he had too. Point all. Oh, I'm glad. Let's do that. Let's do that. He said impact on it, and it didn't make like you do for Gary. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that right now for you. I'm gonna point it all out, the whole game, since you asked. I don't know if I can keep it all on here. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it. I hope so. All right. Let me see. Boom. When I got here, right, in the film for the touchdowns, I said, again, it wouldn't be fair to do this. But when I watched this game, I said, let's watch. I'm going to watch this whole game right here, right? Now, this is going to be one. I also watched all of the snaps versus him versus Still. And I'm going to do 6 games because that's what I did for Gary. Remember, you just said do what I did for Gary. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But what I better not keep finding is games like this. Because you can't say, hey, he just was on a bad team. You know, he was on a bad team, and those guys weren't helping him. Because after those touchdowns, see this, after this touchdown, I said, let's watch the game. So this is the game right here. Here. Okay. Now, when I say it's the game, you're going to see every drive up to, they had like 32 points by the time I stopped for this, right? But I'm going to chop this up and do the rest of the game too. But this is, it was like 32-3, right? But this is not 32-3 because the defense is playing well and the offense is giving up pick sixes and stuff. No. They're just driving right up the field. And when you watch, it's like, okay, does Maxx have a good game or a terrible game here? Because we just judged Maris Leofold by the same ruler, right? So let's judge him by the same ruler. And when you look at it, you tell me where you see I'm tripping when I say, why are you downing your own players, but you don't do this to anyone else? Because if you do it, because now you're going to say I'm tripping when I do it, right? But why are you doing it to your own then? If it sounds crazy for me to do the Maxx and they're going to come to his defense. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And that's why I'm doing it. So this ain't about you, Maxx. You just bait. Because I want to see how crazy this is. As a Cowboy fan base, they're going to come to his defense. Something crazy, as if he played for the Cowboys. It's wild. Let's do it. All right. Boom. This is the entire game. I don't need to call out play for play. Find Maxx and realize this is the game. That's a good play right there. Boom. This is all the same game. Snap for snap. I'm not, unless it's a play where he's not on the field, it goes incomplete passes, complete passes, runs, everything. Not all in order. You don't see no pretty cuts because they be saying they like it. The film raw film. Let me go a little slower though, because I think I'm going too fast here. Boom. All right, that's first down. Let's see. Where's Maxx? To the right this time. Boom. Stunt. Didn't really get there. Boom. Hey, wait, they're going right up the field, though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, right up the field. All game. No stop. Boom. Good stunt there. Yeah, Daniel Jones just comfortable in the pocket, chilling. Boom. Gets blocked out of the film there. I don't know if y'all saw that. Let me go back. If this is Maris, what would they have did to Maris? They'd have said Maris just not ready. So let's call him Maris. Matter of fact, look. So Maris is to your left in the 4-eye position, right there. That's Maris. Let's watch what Maris does. Maris makes it. Oh, that ain't even Maris. Maris is on the other side. Let's see. For those who don't know, if you jump in out of context, don't think I'm crazy. I know who Maris is. Maris is to your right though. But this is Maxx Crosby. But I'm saying I'm calling him Maris because if it were Maris doing some of these things, it'd be crazy, right? But anyway, boom. Good. He makes a tackle. He swims through there. Got that. That's a good play. Boom. Nothing really happened. Didn't get there. Boom. Complete pass. If this was Marist, it would be crazy. All right. Boom. Damn. Got taken out of there. Boom. Complete pass. This is same. This is same drive too. Boom. This is driving right up the field. Boom. Run. It was opposite his side. Boom. Boom. Taken out of there. Incomplete pass. Good spin move. Didn't get you nowhere. They got held to a field goal on that last drive. Boom. Touchdown there. He's to your left. Here we go again. Boom. Didn't really get anywhere. Boom. Incomplete pass. To your left. Boom. There's a good rush there. Gets a pressure and a QB hit. Boom. Comes down the line, chases that down. And I think they held that to a field goal. Good defense. Got driven on, but good defense. Boom. Completion. Gets nowhere. Gets a pressure at the end just from hustle, but didn't really have a good rush at all. Boom. Gets nowhere. Ball keep going up the field. To the left. He to the left. Let's see what's happening. Boom. Boom. Gets nowhere. To the left. Boom. Gets nowhere. Got double teamed though. He is, I think he's to the left. Yeah, he's to the left outside the screen. Let's see what happens here. Get the likes up. Incomplete. Good stunt. Didn't get nowhere. His homie knocked it down, number 99. Boom. Stun it there. Ball complete. Boom. Get the run play, but he's on the backside of it. Like I said, if this was Maris, because remember they just said they showed Maris on the play. They showed this happening to Maris on the play where they didn't even give him no yards. So it was no gain. But Maxx Crosby, opposite play, he wasn't his side. They got thrown to the ground either way. Good big run play. Boom. He's to the left again. Let's see. Boom. Stunt, didn't get nowhere. He knocked the ball down. No good. Headsy hustle. That was a good hustle. Boom. To the left. Boom. Blocked one-on-one. No problem. To the left again. Boom. Blocked one-on-one. No problem. They still move right up the field, too. No problem. To the left again. I think this time they're going to get some tight end help. Oh, he dropping coverage this time. Gets a pressure because of the coverage. Touchdown. Touchdown. Bootleg his side. Boom. Next drive. Oh, no, this is a 2-point conversion. They missed it. Next drive. Boom. Incomplete. Max is over there being doubled by a running back, and he didn't really do much. Boom. Complete deep across the middle of the field. Max is to the right. Boom. Got picked up. Got blocked pretty good. No problem. Still moving right up the field. It was like a hurry up offense. No problem. Boom. Boom. They ran opposite Max. Same play, but they did it the other way this time. Max is to your right. Block one-on-one. Complete pass. No problem. That was out pretty quick, though. Quick game. Max is to your left. Boom. Run right into the gap. 7, 8 yards, something like that. Max is to your right this time. Let's see, where is he at? Where you at, Max? Let's get to the next play. All right, Max is to your right in front of 81. Boom. Tight end, got him. He out to play. Ran right up, right outside of him. But boom, easy. Max is to your right now. This time he busts through. 81. Let's see. Chase this down, Maxx. Nope. He slows up, stops. Boom. Lets the other guys do it. Maxx is to your right again. Let's see. Boom. Stop this, Maxx. Boom. No. Nope. Nope. He set the edge. Boom. Maxx stunts there. Boom. 2-point conversion. Scored. Maxx to your right. No real rush whatsoever. Boom. Completion. Maxx is to your right again. Standing up. Boom. Run right up his gap. Touchdown. Maxx is where? I think he's in the middle somewhere. Boom. Let's see. Maxx is to your right this time. What happened? Oh, that's that same. Shut up. My bad. I had that in here twice. Maxx is to your right. Boom. Incomplete pass for the 2-point conversion. Maxx is to your right. Stunts. Didn't get there. Got blocked pretty good. Boom. 35 yards. Completion. Maxx is where he at? Oh, he's right there to your left. He made the tackle. Set the edge and made the tackle. Maxx is to your right. Boom. They ran opposite side. They kept running that play, getting yards every time. Opposite him. Maxx is to your left. Now it's bump time. The backups are in. Boom. So now Maxx, he punches the ball. He almost punched the ball out right there. Maxx is to your left again. Same play. They ran right at him. Boom. Run through his gap. Boom. No problem. And that's against the backups. Maxx is to your left. Boom. Ran at him again, but this time he makes contact but still gets dragged for like 9 yards. Maxx is to your left again. Boom. Boom. Ball gets batted up in the air. Oh, Richardson catches it. Maxx is on him now. And they drag him for another 9. He still get 9 yards. Boom. 9 yards off that. All right. Maxx is to your left again. Boom. You get in there and make the tackle this time. Like I said, these is bum times. It was all backups. Off the defense, the line too. Maxx is right there in the middle. Boom. Good tackle. And I think that about does it. Yeah, then we get into the Cowboys film, but I'm going to come out of that for a second. Now, I'm not going to grade it at all. I'm going to just let y'all grade Marist Liufau. Marist Liufau, right? Okay, cool. That was his name. Now, I'm just saying, imagine if that was Marist Liufau doing those things. It would be crazy. So, everybody has a bad game is what I'm saying, right? Now, I got way more film to do, too, and to chop up. And I do it that way, right? That's the full game. And that's not even the full game. It's more. It's more. The backups was giving it to him too, to giving it to all of them. So, but I'm like, y'all act like, wouldn't he be destroying good teams in these games? Like I'm looking at these games too. I'm looking at the games that they're losing. I say, all right, now if he's balling and everybody else just sucks, that's different. Because he'll be flashing all day and it's like, why everybody else? No, it's like, okay, he got good games, he had bad games just like anybody else. I want to show his good. I want to show his bad ones, but we're going to show it all. Don't just show a negative play from one of your own players in preparation for a guy who shit stinks too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I'm not saying I don't like Maxx, but good, bad, nugget. You can't judge by a criteria with one guy, then not by the same criteria with the next guy. When you do that, you picking and choosing. It don't make sense. And you keep hating on your own players. It's craziness. I can't understand it. Can't understand. Let me say what's up to some of y'all, man, because I know I've been going for a minute, and I do appreciate that. I got a little bit more film to do, too. Let's look at this. Now, I put up, and this is what they were responding to. Like, it wasn't like I just jumped. I just said, Murs had a good game and put a quick film out. Let me take the voice out of there. I just said he had a good game. Maris is to your right. That's all I said. I said, the boy, in my opinion, my humble opinion, had a good game. That's all I said. You know what I mean? And when I said good game, I meant right there his job was to set the edge. He set it, but he didn't make the tackle. Make this tackle. But he did his job, didn't make the tackle. I have a problem with that because I say he learning the position and what it takes to really man it up out there. But he's done it before. It's not like the first time he's been outside. Boom. Here, They was like, he got knocked out the club. His job was to set the edge here and turn the ball back inside. What happened here? Did the ball get turned back inside? Or his guy, first off, did he take on 2 blocks at that? Nobody's touching Bell or Shamar James right now. They finally engaged with Bell at the end of it. Shamar James never really got blocked at all, and he made the tackle on the back end of that. Here. Tackle for loss, Maris. They was like, nobody blocked him. I'm like, all right, well, say that when Maxx Crosby get a sack when nobody blocked him. Let's do the same thing. Boom. All right, now right here. He got pushed in his side, right? Obviously. Uh-huh. Got turned, and then but the lineman that hit him is going to miss James, I think, because of that. Yeah, James actually makes this tackle. So he doesn't get a real square up on James because of that. And I think Carson is free because that fullback on the outside was trying to roll to get Carson. He couldn't get out there because of where Maris was. That was a bad rep, but good play. You get what I'm saying? Meaning you got beat on the rep. He beat you. But at the same time, like, you didn't give up any yard. They talk like he got beat. And then they ignored these, though, right? All right, so he got pushed inside, boom, swims, gets himself a sack. They ain't put this in there. I'm like, now, if you going, I put his bad plays in. I just showed him, right? I did this initially. They made it seem like I just showed a highlight reel of him and said he was good. Then they was all Mars. I keep hearing it from all of the other fan channels or whatever, and fans from those channels are coming back and telling me. But I'm like, all right, I'll go take a look. Maybe I'm misevaluating. But I didn't see none of these plays. And I'm like, in order to ignore something, that means you can see it. Can't ignore something that you can't see. This was a good rush. This was a pressure by him. Boom. Double team at that. Good hand placement, good hand fighting. Boom. And if it wouldn't have been a gap for him to escape, that could have been another sack right there. But that was a pressure. I give him that. I would say Dunn and Houston did a good job too, but they all met at the quarterback. Good rep. No problem with that. Boom. Here is the edge set. Yes. That's his job. Now, the running back, if it wasn't set, that running back would have been outside immediately. He had to stop his feet because of where Maris was and what he was doing. I just said, hey, that was a good game for a guy changing his position, and I didn't expect him to get a sack and a pressure at all. And I'm not talking about off of a stunt. That would have been like acceptable. Not off of just straight rushes. I wouldn't have expected him to get that. So to do it, I was like, all right, that's good for him, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what I thought. But like I said, when I started watching the film of all the players that we be talking about all the time, it's like it pisses me off because it let me know y'all not even watching it. Y'all just saying things based off of statistics and names and statistics, not players. And then in favor of over players who really doing it right in front of your face. So to ignore it is what I'm saying is corny when it comes to anybody. It doesn't matter what content creator it is. It's just, to me, it's corny to ignore. Let's see what I got. Did I do this whole one? I did this whole. Nope. Yeah, I want to show you something because I think I got more film. Let's see what I got. I got him versus Steele. I don't think I put it up here, did I? Maxx Crosby film to the max. Maxx versus the Colts. I put it up there. Let me see. Yeah, that's just the Colts. I don't need that one. I got you. 1 second, people. That's his touchdowns. I got that. I'm looking for his film versus Steele. There we go. Let's see. Now I didn't get a chance to edit this, right? But matter of fact, I'll just edit it. I'm gonna edit it later because I don't want to get a strike, and I will get a strike here. I watched him versus Steele, and it was like, yo, okay, but the hell that y'all be giving Steele, Like Max gave Still some trouble. Oh, of course, but the way he played in the game, you would think that like the way we talk about Still, you would think that Maxx Crosby would have had 3 sacks against Still and destroyed him. He didn't. The only sack that he got was a sack on a stunt where Dak held the ball forever in the day. Other than that, Still had a pretty decent game against Maxx Crosby, which is crazy. A lot of people worried about Still. I mean, I look at it like this: you're not gonna have a perfect offensive line. I think that our best five doesn't have Still on it. I will say that, and I think our best five is Bass at left guard, and even though you do get some downturn from Tyler Smith becoming a left tackle, I think he's better at left guard, but he's better at left tackle than anyone else on the team. And then you would take Guyton and make him a right tackle again, and let Bass play left guard. I would do that. So I'm not saying like I'm not fighting for Still's job. Let me put it that way. I'm not doing that. But I would assume that he got his ass whooped against Maxx Crosby. I will do the film and break that down for you too, and I also will finish the Colts game that I showed y'all. But I think a lot of people understand the context that I'm putting this in, right? So let's just make this very clear. Maxx Crosby is a great player. Maxx Crosby will be welcome in the Cowboys organization. Maxx Crosby also may become a Cowboy. These are all, things that could be true. I don't have a problem with none of that. However, to cover Maxx Crosby more than we cover the Cowboys, I do have a problem with. To downplay Cowboy players in favor of Maxx Crosby, I have a problem with. So I'm telling you. So Lou, you guys don't have to put words in my mouth. First off, let me say this: absolutely nobody, no matter how cool I am with anybody, right? I'm cool with everybody, but absolutely nobody speaks for me. So I speak for myself. Don't tell people what I said or what I think, what you think I think. You don't need to. I speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? So Lou, you don't say what I said, because you saying what I said. You taking me out of context. You like, we watched the film and you said that Maris should be middle linebacker. I do think Maris should get a shot at middle linebacker. I thought that he should anyway, right? But I never said that Maris couldn't play outside, and you definitely didn't sit and watch him outside last year and say that either, right? I mean, we didn't do that together. If we did, I said that I understood him even moving outside after reevaluating the film. You know what I said? I said Maris' change of direction had been an issue. This is why he was missing so many tackles. He's got good beeline speed, but to put his foot in the ground, if you juke him left or right, you can get past him, right? Because of the angles that he's taking. So from the middle of the field, he was missing the assignments when it came to coverage and certain run fits, right? On the outside, it's easier because it's just anything in your territory, hit it. That's all he had to do. So he was setting the edges all year, last year on the outside, and he was making plays on the outside. He wasn't getting that many opportunities. He was getting 10 snaps a game and making the best of it from the outside. So to keep saying that he can't do it, like he's so horrible outside, you don't want him outside. I agree with that, but you can't make things up to make your thing happen. That's my problem. That's my problem. I think he should have gotten a shot at middle too, especially in this type of scheme. But I heard that Christian Parker and Schottenheimer really are using him everywhere anyway. They use him as a multiple versatile linebacker, a guy that can play in the middle, and they want him taking reps on the outside so that he can play outside as well. Meaning he can sub in for anybody in the linebacker core, anybody in that front four as far as the linebackers go, all the way around the board. That's what he's teaching them by making him a outside linebacker. Will it work? We don't know. We've seen crazier things happen. But what I will say is we talk like, you would think from everyone else's perspective that, like I said, he was horrible and he's about to get kicked off the team and so on. He may get cut. Who knows? Because it's a very talented room. But I don't hear that when it comes to Christian Parker and those guys. I don't hear him talking like they don't understand what they want with Maris. And even where he was starting was second team. So I'm like, okay. And then you see him in there with the one sometimes even in practice. Why are they putting him in there? Why are you putting him in there? Why don't you just bury him on the bench if you don't want him? Like, why would they be using him in different spots over guys who should get some reps, right? Why would they do it? I don't know. Don't make sense to me. And I'm being an asshole when I say that. I do know, because they have a plan for him. But Everybody know everything. I'm not trying to be the know-it-all guy because to me that's like schmuckish. You know what I mean? Annoying. It is. You know what I mean? Don't look too good or talk too wise. But at the same time, though, say what is. And when you say what is, the only thing I'm gonna say is what I see. I'm not gonna hate on nobody. If I see it, I'm gonna say it. If you see it, say it. And what do you say? See something, say something. Crime Stoppers, right? You know what I mean? Something like that. But nobody say nothing. Everybody just sit back and watch and act like they don't understand. Then they'll watch a guy make a play and just dead it, be quiet about it. And that to me is very corny, man. And then when y'all did the joint, y'all had Rashawn Gary still in the Packers uniform, but you had Von Miller and Maxx Crosby in Cowboys uniforms. I was like, y'all don't care about no mental health, man. The dude came here and became a leader. Y'all don't even talk about the boy. They be like, hey, what Rashawn Gary would do with Quentin Williams. They ain't talk. I mean, not what Maxx Crosby would do with Quentin Williams. They ain't talking about what Rashawn Gary about to do with Quentin Williams or what him and Kenny Clark about to do together with Quentin Williams. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about that. They don't talk like we got the best defensive line in the game. They talk like we need Max. And what I keep saying is this: we would like to have more talent from anywhere. Max is included, right? But he's not the savior and he's not the failure. So now I'm telling you what narrative they set up for you for clicks, right? If we win, right, without Max, that's now the pressure's on us to win without Max. We got to win without Max. Any loss is going to be because Max ain't here. Max ain't here. I told y'all we needed Max. As soon as we lose, it don't matter. They're gonna go through a fine tooth comb and try to find anything they can find to say we should have got Max. And if we win when Max gets here, it's gonna say we won because we got Max. You know what I'm saying? Which both could end up being true if in a certain dimension. Could be. But that's what they setting it up to try to make it no matter what, right? And right now we don't need Max. If Max came here, and this is what I'm saying, I'm gonna be happy that we got him. If Jerry really goes and gets him at the end of this video, I would open back up with another live and do a breaking news joint and say it like Max is here and this is what we're gonna do with him. But he's not a Cowboy, and I'm not going down no Cowboys to try to get Max. I'm not about to do that, especially when these guys are playing well. Like I don't like they talk like, you know, we need everybody on the front needs to be all pro or we suck, which is crazy. This team is a good ass defense. Deep. They just show how deep we are, how disciplined they are. That's scary. It's scary season. So I think we're a top 10, top 15 defense already right now. Would Maxx Crosby make us a better defense? I think so. I do think so. If the Cowboys wanted to go get him, do I think that's a wise idea? Sure, go do it if you want to do it. Cool, right? But when you got the room that we have and the guys that we have and the rotation that we have of guys, right? Like even when you look at the outside, you got guys like Barham they're not talking about. You got linebackers shooting gaps, running free right now that they're not talking about. They're not talking about all the implications of pressure, both simulated and not, that will be generated by this front already right now, right? And then they say, "Oh, we're already enough." I said we're already a good team. Enough means I don't want anybody else on this team. That's why I say you're lying, right? If you got to change my words, then you got a lie to say it, because I never said that it's enough. I'm saying we're a good team, so don't make it seem like we have a deficit, because we don't have a deficit when it comes to that. Now that is true. But that doesn't mean you can't go out and get more talent. I don't have a problem. I'm saying it out of my own mouth. I don't have a problem with you going out and get more talent. But don't make it seem like we are thirsty for it. We're not. We're not. You guys want it to be that for some reason, to the point where you'll even down your other players. They're like, Still, Gary only got on them sacks because it's against Still. Still sucks. Now, Still might be, deteriorating in camp. Maybe he is. But y'all don't think that it just so happened to might have something to do with the fact he lined up against Gary all game? I mean, all practice? Might. Because when I'm watching him during the season, is Dak leading the league every year? Y'all talk about Still every year. Does he lead the league every year in sacks and getting sacked? No. So who blocking for him? Must not be Still. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I'll really be thinking the Mandela effect is real. Like CERN is on some real shit. I woke up in a different place. And I'm like, we can't be having the same math. The math is we're not doing the same kind of math. I don't get it. All right, logic doesn't make sense, but I'm Miles Garrett doesn't win every rep. Look at Aaron Donald's film against the Cowboys. He didn't win every single rep. We would have loved to have those two players. Of course, that's my point. I'm not saying so if you just came in late when I did the film on Maxx Crosby, I'm not saying I got a problem with the Maxx Crosby game or his reps. I look at his film. I think his film is cool. I like his film, right? My problem is when you sit there and you try to destroy Cowboys players using one rep, to your point, right? Players who are getting better, you use those one reps against them and say they suck. Why you don't do that to Aaron Donald or Myles Garrett or Maxx Crosby? Why you don't do that to them? You know what I'm saying? Especially in the game where they had an impact, where it had a sack, a tackle for loss, and like I said, good coverage and set some edges. He ain't do a whole lot. It wasn't a whole lot to happen, right? But nothing happened. Like the defense, he was a part of a unit that played excellent, excellent. Get what I'm saying? Von got 8 sacks on 246 snaps, basically rushing on passing down situations, and got Washington 8. Not to mention the knowledge Von brings to our locker room. Oh, you ain't never gonna get no pushback from me, brother. I think you are correct. 10 jewels, hiding, hiding, hiding. Okay, got you. I don't know what the jewels mean. I gotta learn YouTube. I gotta learn that. I appreciate the love though. Once I found out what jewels mean, I will appreciate it more. I promise. Now Mars doing that at something he isn't used to doing all the time and get no respect for it. Ha ha ha! Crazy work. Let him get another off season to build a body. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. He said Sam Williams can go though. Now that I agree. Now I was a Sam Williams fan, but I think that Sam is like one of the weaker in their room. You know what I'm saying? I think Sam will probably be the sacrifice. That's what I think. All right, let's see. I disagree with that best five offensive line take. I believe that the advantages of Tyler Smith at left guard outweigh the combination of O line that include him at left tackle. Um, I can't really. I can disagree with you to a degree. Like I like my five. I think that it makes it a more solid line all the way around the board. If you want no cracks in it, or you can just go with your guys that you have and protect Still. Still has one issue. It's his left knee that he had the ACL on, and if you get him to kick set outside hard, he can't plant hard on the inside when it comes to that left leg. So that's why guys who've got a little bit of size, they start outside, they get him to step outside, and then they drive downhill to his inside shoulder as fast as they can, or they do spin moves or whatever they can do, or they try to give him a pushback like Gary does, and then just step inside. But either or, inside is the way to go. With Still, you try to rush outside, or rush the hoop, he gets ain't gonna really get too far unless you get him trying to pinch inside because he's scared that you already beat him that way. Then you got him on two-way goes, but he on skates at that point. But at the end of the day, I think you could just say, okay, that's Still's deficiency. That's his main deficiency, really. That's his problem. As a runner, he's a mauler. If he's on the move, he's not that bad. So there's certain things you can do with him to kind of mitigate some of his issues, and you know what they are. But I would agree, in a sense that you say that his value at left guard is crazy because I think that Tyler Smith is more power than finesse. Like his feet are how you beat him. The guys who are beating him in camp, even Quentin Williams setting him up with his feet, but then getting him off leverage and then tossing him somewhere. Or Barham, who's beating him, they beating him on stunts and things like that because once they get him to set a certain way, he can't. His feet are his issue, and that's been his issue since I scouted him. I ain't draft him. My bad. But since I scouted him, yeah. Let me keep going. Y'all saying some good stuff in here. I can't get to all y'all. Y'all know that. And these dudes sound like Oprah. You get a Max, you get a Garrett, you get a Micah, trying to put all pros at every position. Man, this is the best. That's another thing. Like the narrative bust is this. This is the best. And challenge accepted. Somebody said the 2017 that had like 13 Pro Bowls. I think they did. That's the only team in the last 20 years that you can say had a better defense than this one. The one that had like 13 Pro Bowlers on it. on the team, right? I think that was they said 2007. Okay, in 20 years, how is this not being talked about like this is the best defense we've had in 20 years? I haven't seen nobody say that at all. I hear people say, "Hey, are we going to be enough?" Oh man, I don't know. If we don't, Maxx Crosby. They say Maxx Crosby after every practice, after every game, after every story. That is my issue. That's my issue. It's not Maxx Crosby. The issue. I said after he didn't go to the Ravens, I said myself, and I still believe this. I believe this is why we even have a shot. I think Jerry set this up this way. So I do think he wanted Maxx Crosby, or he wants Maxx Crosby. Why? Because Dr. Cooper is the one who kind of created so much fog around his medicals. Okay. And then that he ended up back with the team that was probably better off negotiating with, or better to negotiate with from Jerry's standpoint. That's all Jerry, in my opinion. But we don't want to call it tampering because it's a very dangerous thing. Can't call it that. But I know he did that. And I think other people know he did that, right? Okay, cool. But he's going to pull the trigger when the team seems to either need it or when the Raiders agree to it. And if that happens, like I said, we'll start talking about the player when the player enters the doorway. We'll start flooding the airways with him. But we're going to be honest with him just like we honest with everybody else. And if you're going to be super petty honest, you better be petty with your own folks too. The problem I have, again, another one is all these people who watch film are not watching the film of the players that they're talking about either, which is like, I can tell from what you're saying you're not watching it. Certain things that people say, let me know that they're not watching, or that they're trying to confirm what it is that they want in the first place, right? I can go in circles all day about this, man, but it's gonna be a fun season because I'm gonna keep going now. It's like y'all started it, but the things that y'all judge by, that's what I'm judging off of, and I'm doing that all year, whether he here or not. Too, I'm judging everybody by the same accord you judge by, because to me it's a little disingenuous at this point that we keep going on and on and on about a player who don't play for the Cowboys while we got one of the defenses that seems to be one of the better defenses we had in 20 years and one of the best defensive lines in the football and a very good secondary already. Secondary is good. When you watch Savon Revel and Durant play, you like those guys both can start, but then you got Bland. They're healthy. They're like, oh, we're one injury away from being on eggshells. That's every team in the National Football League. Every team. So why would I be scared of that? But we need depth. We very deep. We just showed that our fifth stringers was still balling. Land and Tyrus Wheat look good. Well, against other third and fourth stringers, I don't think they'll look good, as good against starters. But you get what I'm saying. I put that in context, though, right? I say they look good. Do I think they're gonna be Pro Bowlers though? No, not even close. But I think that's the issue, right? So again, watch the film. Let's get back to enjoying some cowboy content. I want to watch some cowboy content, man. I don't want to keep begging boy to come here. If he come here, cool. Why we gotta keep? We gonna keep begging Jerry too? Like, I mean, I don't got a problem. You do what you want, but don't try to fog up no narratives or create none to do it though. Don't do that. Don't allow no players to do it either. And really, and don't say my name because I'll say yours. If I can make videos about you, really can. I'm trying not to. I'm very good at it. But guess what? I actually like y'all. I like that y'all doing content, making money and doing your thing. I like it. Why would I try to besmirch you? Now I will disagree with the things you say, but y'all get real mad when I do that. I don't. This is why I don't like having friends in the space. I really don't. Why? Because I don't care what none of y'all think. I don't. If I see it, I'm gonna say it. Right? If I see it, I'm gonna say it. If you've already said something contrary to that, I'm not coming at you. I'm coming at what you said or what it means or what it stands for. And y'all get very upset when somebody disagree with y'all. Everybody. Or when I do it, they get real glib, like, who the hell am I to do that? I don't know what you did to begin with. I'm not watching you necessarily. Now, I usually watch it in retaliation. I don't watch it and try to figure out what you said. I'm just doing the film. And whatever I'm saying is what I'm looking at. right? And then it might clash with something you looked at, and now we supposedly got a Twitter beef because people keep adding you and showing you what I said. Okay, at the end of the day, though, when y'all put me out, y'all even when y'all bring me on shows, right? I don't even say nothing. They brought me on the show, y'all brought me on the show and ambushed me, right? I said, it's cool. I said something to y'all directly about it, but I said, it's cool. Don't worry about it, right? Don't worry about it. Like, you know what I mean? And I still was that you still didn't that show to me still didn't prove anything. But then I realized nobody was really watching the film. I'm like, that's when I felt like, all right, come on, man. Watch the guys, all of it. Don't just watch the sacks. Don't just watch the pressures. Don't just watch the run play. Watch the game. Sit and do the work. Watch the game. And then tell me what you think without your feelings about you liking the guys. Grading for real since y'all grade. Everybody talking about we grading, we do the all right, cool. Right? Grade your own players. Are they sucking? And if they don't try to add sauce to make it so. That's crazy. Right? And then grade him too. Cause I ain't seen no film of him, right? I see his sacks. That's not film. I see sacks and highlights. Grade it all. Grade it all. I'm trying to keep going. Let me stopping. Y'all keep asking good questions. It's making me kind of elaborate on the answers. So I'm a little long-winded, but I'm gonna try to be quicker. We got dog fights across all positions to make the 53-man roster set backup offensive line. I don't like playing with fire up front. Agreed. I think that we say that every year though about our offensive line though. We do. We've been saying that for the last 10 years, and even when Conor Williams was here. And I will say that so your offensive line being not the greatest offensive line in football. We're not the greatest offensive line in football, but we have a great interior offensive line. If Guyton can just up it just a little bit, then you can say if those four can be super solid, then you only got to help still, and then you are great because you can help still on the outside and then still don't have to kick step. He can just stay on the inside. He don't get beat to the inside as much because he'll have help inside because the tight end or the running back or somebody will be chipping outside, forcing the lineman to stay right up on him, right on the inside or dead center. That'll help him. But if you know Guyton can do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he does. But what I'll say is, I agree though that that's the one position, but everywhere else we super loaded, and they're fighting for position. You got a guy like Hooker, who I haven't heard Hooker name much at all. Like Hooker is fighting to I wouldn't say necessarily fighting to make this team, but it's a deep safety room. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a deep safety room. Put it that way. I don't know if Hooker's starting. I don't know if he necessarily started. I mean, maybe he is. Maybe that's why I don't say his name because they don't say Bland's name either. But and they don't say his name, but he's the starter. But I agree with you about that statement up front. I remember one year when the Redskins paid for a bunch of Hall of Famers: Deion, Bruce Smith, Darryl Green, Champ Billy, Chris Samuels, and they went 8-8. That's what these Cowboys fans want. Yeah, they crazy. Uh, he said Dallas talk about maybe going and getting another running back. Good. Running back would be nice. Yeah, good. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. One thing I love about our AK family and supporters of this channel, we definitely gonna talk it out. Yeah, let's talk. The team wanted Max. They made offers. Y'all keep trying to make this just a fan thing when it isn't. Again, twisting people's shit to create arguments for y'all damn something. No. Ain't nobody twisting nothing. Like when you take out context against players to twist, that's twisting. When you take out certain plays to twist the narrative, that's what twisting is, bro. Nobody got a problem, like we said before, when somebody went Maxx Crosby. The team did go after him. I just broke down the whole chronological report. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, though, he still ain't a Cowboy, bro. You got a Cowboy star in your head. Stop hating on Cowboys players for Maxx Crosby. That's corny. That's disloyalty. My brother, I think the reason they're not going after Crosby, it must be something medical. I think his knees really are fucked up. Maybe. He said that's just you though. Cool. You think Dr. Cooper is going to risk his medical license for Jerry? Man. You probably think that you voted for the president. You made the president too. I ain't gonna get into that with you, man. You think they let you choose who the president gonna be, or you think it's already? Oh God! So you think that that would never happen? You can. I know people who pay doctors to do all kinds of stuff that they ain't supposed to be doing. What you talking about? How you think we had an opioid crisis in this country? Like because all doctors would never risk. Shut up. Excuse my French. I love you, man. But come on, you smarter. You're better than this. What are you talking about? We need a desperate. Sorry. We need to depreciate his value for a better chance for a good deal. Hey, shit. Akoye might be on to something with that. Reezy, that's why I love it over here, dude. I can't do won't say his name and a couple other channels for all the drama and nonsense. Understood. The Raven said, "Heck no, we good." Yeah, I'm good too. I mean, I'm gonna show you more film of him though, no problem. Uh, Dr. Cooper didn't fail Maxx Crosby. He gave him his medical opinion, and the Ravens failed the physical. Oh, I know, man. If Jerry had issues with Dr. Cooper findings, he would have never made the three trade offers. I think you're missing. You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it. You blowing it, man. Ravens shorted the market and got a similar player for less. They should have been looked at. Probably. Y'all in there talking some good shit. Steve Mack, you can't explain simple logic to some people, bro. Like it ain't seen it ain't seen teams back out of deals for reasons before and use the medicals as the reason why. Okay, but I could be right too. So saying that you say it as if you just told the truth from you have a logical delineation of how things may have occurred, right? So do I, and mine don't match yours. But in a world, there is a world where that could be true. I ain't gonna lie on you, but I don't think so, bro. The fact that everybody just knew that Jerry was after them, right? After Crosby, something crazy. Like even when Jane Slater came up in the press conference and she just said his name, is because there's things off the record that you ever heard of off the record. There's things off the record that people know that's not going to hit the media. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened. You know what I'm saying? And there's plenty of stuff that I definitely know right now about Cowboys of old from stories that I've heard from Cowboys coaches and people around the team and players and so on, right? That I will never say, but it will never make light of day. So the things y'all saying when it comes to that is like, of course Jerry would do that. What are you talking about? Of course the doctor would too. What you mean? Come on, man. Damn, the bear shit in the woods. Boom. Okay. That Barham is unknown or Overshawn is injury prone. Sean Lee was injury prone. Y'all ain't have a problem with Sean Lee though. He was injury prone. They love Sean. Why they love Sean Lee so much? So was LV. LV was injury prone. Jalen was just injured flat out the whole time. Man. They ain't really like Jalen either though, but they loved LV and he was injury prone and very soft. Loved him. Skywalker OG in the building. That's my guy. Yo, Chad, what's up, Akoye? I know I'm late, but Akoye, if you were to give up picks to go get someone for this team, who would it be for? I mean, who would that be for you? Personally, I'm going to get Gonzo and pay him a bag. Gonzo is an interesting one because that would make this secondary elite immediately. It's a good secondary, but it's questionable. But it'll be elite with Gonzo here. We'd be like 5 deep with guys that can play, corner. Then, but I do agree on if I was going to use some picks, it probably would be right tackle. Probably would, yeah, right tackle. That's the if I'm gonna give up some picks, it'd probably be right tackle right now. I don't feel desperate enough. I forget the picks. It's not about the picks, but I just don't feel desperate anyway. That at outside linebacker, I don't. You got Ezraku, who everybody loved him last year. Suddenly now, in order to make this work, he sucks. Ezraku. You got Malachi Lawrence. Everybody loved the pick during the draft. Now they hate him as if he did something wrong. Like he's a rookie learning the position and he hasn't even played a snap. And last game he played okay. I thought he played good. So He played good versus the run and had some good pass rushes too. So I mean, okay, you got two guys that played okay. And Maris is learning the position. I thought he played okay. You know what I'm saying? You got James Houston who plays the same position. I thought he played great. You know what I mean? Then you went out and got Von Miller after the fact. That's even better, right? So to me, that's you got a hell of a room already. And then I didn't even bring up Rashawn Gary. He didn't play. But Rashawn Gary is a problem. And he keep getting sacks for some reason for a guy that y'all don't even talk about that being surprising. They don't even be like, well, damn, Gary's even if you didn't think he could do that, you be like, oh, Gary's surprising me and Cam because he's getting a lot of sacks. They ain't even saying that. That's how they ignore it. That's how you know they can see it. Because they would at least say it as if it's curious, or it's like peculiar, or ironic. They don't do that. They just ignore it like it's not happening. And then, but if he was out there getting like ran through, because they did this to Mozzie. I remember Mozzie beat Tyler Smith for the rep. They didn't show that. They showed Tyler Smith beating Mozzie and said, look, oh man, he sucks. He sucks. If Rashawn Gary was getting ran out the club in practice, his name would be mentioned already. So why are y'all waiting for the negative but won't say nothing about the positive? That is crazy shit to me. It's crazy as hell. I'm not interested in Max right now. If healthy, edge is the strength of the team. Rashawn Gary gonna be a beast this year. I agree. Let's see what else we got. Jay Bryan, what's up, bro? Boom. They know that's not why. That's another excuse they use. Boom, boom. I don't think the Ravens backed out because of medical solely either. Not solely, but don't get it twisted though. I really don't. Listen, when I heard Dr. Cooper was involved in the first place, it's the same thing. I think I can't even bring that up. Sorry. See, you almost got me. Almost got me to say something stupid. Yeah. Either way, you know what I mean? I'm about to dive back into this film. Let me see who else I didn't chat to. Who somebody said Skywalker. I was looking for Skywalker name in the chat. I don't see it. I was about to holler at my boy. I don't see him in here. How y'all know he was here? Oh, he must have been here way earlier. He said you be thinking the exact same way. He said heavy on the sneak dissing. You said I'm heavy on the sneak dissing? No, I'm gonna show you what heavy on the sneak dissing. Because how is that sneak dissing when I'm like I don't feel like putting other people's content up here, to be honest with you, because I don't know if they're gonna strike it. But I just listened to Lou tell me that Leofold had a horrible game, and they downed him. They trashed Leofold. So if you're gonna trash him for that, cool, do that. Do the same thing to your mans though. And trust me, we're not gonna do one game. Just like I went through all the games for Rashawn and all that, and we put it right out here in public, and you can just watch it as you wish, right? We're gonna do the same thing with Maxx Crosby too. And wherever it is, it is. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what y'all talking about. So the standards that y'all have, whether it be how long he got a sack or what level of difficulty for a sack, if he got ran on, if he took too long to get a pressure, we gonna look at all that for him too. And then let's go from there. Because I'm trying to understand where this pissed off vitriol y'all got for anybody who thinks that we are a good team. It's like I'm not allowed to like my team. I'm not allowed to say that this team is a good team. I'm not allowed to think that we have a top 10 defense already. And you think that the only thing that'll make it a top 10 is Maxx Crosby. And the only thing I didn't do right so far, I haven't looked to see how many top 10 defenses the Raiders have had while he's over there. I haven't looked at that. I'm gonna check that too. Because he better be generating top 10 defenses where he already is, right? Should be something. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So stat Cowboys don't mean nothing to me, man. Like, what's the impact are you having? Not only on your season, on the game, but also on your team overall trajectory. I said the same thing about Micah Parsons. Why the hell would Maxx Crosby get a concession? Micah played here, and I still said that about him. He wasn't able to stop the run consecutively or consistently in big games. I've said it I said that about Osa too. Like both players, but that's what it is, right? So this ain't a homer thing, but it is like, yeah, let's keep it real. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real. The Cowboys have done what other teams have done over the last 10 years, which is invest in the interior. And those teams that have done it that were already good teams, guess what they did? They won Super Bowls doing that. So we finally did that, and everybody's talking like they want to go back to the way it was, which is crazy. We invested in safety, linebacker, and interior defensive line in this offseason heavily. Those are three positions that we used to go and get bargain brand everything at. Linebackers, we'd go get the hurt linebackers. It was the hurt locker. You know what I'm saying? So to not be in that space right now, for us to be in a place where that's not our reality, is a good place to be. Very good. I do want these players. The players can't get good in practice, in train, in preseason. You know what I'm saying? They need reps. They need to actually play. We have players who never get to play because we keep trying to replace them with other players. And this year of all years, we've been actually doing it. Like, we've been bringing it. Right now, we got leaders. We've never had this. I said this on the other video. We got leaders who are not from this team. Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, now Von Miller. You know what I'm saying? Bullard, Agbania, Jalen Thompson, Durant. You know what I'm saying? PJ Lott. All these guys are veterans that have won and done other things other places. You know what I'm saying? Crazy work. Crazy work. He said, I'm seeing 2020, they were top 10. Who was top 10? He said 2020 we was top. You talking about the Raiders. I got you. I understand now. My bad. Drell, I'm not a real Cowboys fan because I can say Mars is better at middle linebacker than edge. See, that's that you are a liar though. See, that's what I'm talking about with the lies, where people be lying. If you can just, you gotta just tweak it a little bit. Everything what I say, you gotta tweak it to make what you say true. That means you lying. Cause I never said that. You said you not a real fan. You said, oh, okay. My bad. I'm sorry, bro. I do apologize. See, I'm very accountable. You're not talking to me. You're talking to Drell. So Drell must have said that to you. I apologize. Drell said that to you. I was taking you out of context. No pun intended. But my bad, because that's true. You weren't talking to me. I thought you were talking about what I said earlier about Maris playing well outside. And I'm not mad that someone says that they think he's better at middle. We could argue that. I think he can do both in bits and pieces. I look at him as Van Ginkel, honestly, in his defense, and I've been saying that. I think that that's the plan they have for him. If I'm wrong, we're going to find out soon. But guess what? Let the man lose or win on the field. That's what I want to see. I want to see the player play. You know what I'm saying? But let me get back into the film because it's been about an hour and a half. Anybody who wants to understand the context in which I was doing this video, please watch it in its totality, or watch it at least somewhat in the beginning, because if you just jump in for the breakdown highlights, you're gonna be pretty pissed off. Because I'm talking about Max using the same ruler that Lou and others have used to talk about Maris. It's a parody. Obviously, I don't think that Maxx Crosby sucks, but if Maris sucks for the things that he put on film, then and for the things that Lou was saying, then those things shouldn't be happening to Maxx Crosby. Is my point. All right. But until next time, there's gonna be more coming real soon. But until next time, let me get back to the film, man. I appreciate y'all in the chat. I know I didn't get to everybody. That's because I needed to stay on topic, because this has been a lot. I haven't even gone vicious yet. I'm still being polite. You get what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean it's not coming. I'll leave you with this line, and then we gonna stop. Right? It was from Fargo. One of my favorite lines, favorite characters was Billy Bob Thornton, the first season of Fargo. Yeah, the cop pulled him over. He was talking to him. He said, he was telling the cop, basically, I'm gonna kill you. He's like, maps used to say dragons live here. Now they don't. He said, so what? The cop was like, so what? What does that mean? He said, that don't mean it ain't no dragons. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing, man. Like, at the end of the day, the way I look at that is like, just because you look at it as if, or you talk as if you chilling, which I am. I'm trying to chill and be civil. That don't mean you ain't like stewing at the end of the day. Like, I just don't want to, come at people and make it like I'm trying to make it. It's not personal. Y'all Cowboys fans too. I'm trying to. This is a community, but remember who we here to support. It damn sure ain't no opposition. Max is an op until he not an op. You get what I'm saying? That's how I really look at it, bro. That's it. Ain't no other way to look at it. Now, do I want him? I would definitely take Maxx Crosby if Maxx Crosby got here some kind of way. Not gonna be mad at that. Do I think that Maxx Crosby walk on water? No, I don't. Uh, do I think he got shit with him just like any other player? Yes, I do. And if you're going to accentuate those things when it comes to other players, then do it to him too. If you're going to talk about Gary having a down year, talk about Max having a down year last year. You're not going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Talk about all of that. The same things y'all been doing to your own players. This is the problem. Doubt him. Why don't y'all doubt him? Why ain't kicking tires the way y'all kicking tires with your own players? You know what I'm saying? Doing film on our own players, not doing film on the player that you're talking about. You know what I mean? They did the same thing with Sweat. They watched all of his sacks and pressures, but nobody watched his run fits and him limping all up and down the field. And they said we should spend $20 million a year on a player who limping all the way up and down the field. And people still coming to me saying that. Crazy work. Talk to y'all soon, though. Peace.